Welcome back to another episode of the Cherish Each Moment podcast. Glad you're here. Happy to have you. Looking forward to another episode. I'm Jimmy Lewis, and I'm excited to tell you all about the things going on over here that don't necessarily make it into my YouTube videos. As always, so much to talk about. Getting ready to dive right in here. Here we go. All right. I always look forward to making these podcasts. I've sure been having a lot of fun doing it, and I'm excited to get started on another one. Lots to talk about, things that have been going on over the last week or so. As you know, those of you that have listened to previous episodes, I did make a trip up to the greener lawn and spend a little bit of time hanging out with Jeremy up there. Ryan Quick from the Highlander lawn was up there too, and we had a good time doing the very first on-site outdoor segment of this podcast. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that, please go back and give that a listen. That was a lot of fun, and I always have a good time hanging out with Jeremy and hanging out at the greener lawn. So, always a good time. I did mow his front yard for him, did a little bit of edging, and we did a little live stream on his channel before we did the podcast recording. So, it's a good time. He lives about, I think it was like 53 miles north of me. So it's a pretty good little drive, and it's always worth it. Always fun. Hopefully we can get him down this way pretty soon and get a couple of videos filmed and do a little collaboration action over here. It's always kind of hard to do it during the summer because it's just so hot, and you don't want to really do it during the middle of the day. Anything you want to do is really like in the evening. So, yeah, lots been going on around the house. I did a little something I wasn't planning on doing, but sometimes you just got to kind of call an audible and go with it. But I did raise the height of cut in my front yard. Nothing really drastic. It's just a 1/4 of an inch. I brought it up to 1 inch, and the reason I did that is because I have been battling some areas with some heat stress. I think the sand that I added over the last year or so has really been a major contributing factor to the heat stress in the lawn. Sand radiates heat very easily. If you go to the beach and sink your feet into the dry sand out there, you'll know sand gets hot. And that heat radiates into the lawn, and the lawn kind of has to deal with that. And so, been dealing with several hot spots in the front yard, and because of my watering restrictions, because of, due to the drought that we're experiencing here in Utah, I have to be careful with how I approach it and try to keep conservation in the forefront of my mind and involve that into my strategical execution of how I take care of my lawn right now. And I can't just water whenever I want, how often I want, and how long I want. I've got to, do my part to be conservatively mindful, I guess is the phrase. So, just as a reminder for my current watering allowances, I'm not completely restricted. I've been saying this whole time that where I live currently, and every city around here is pretty different, and I don't have them all memorized. I don't have them all written down. Some people are being a lot more conservative than other people. I'd put myself around the middle of the road. But technically where I live, you're allowed to water twice a week. They can't be consecutive days, and if you're watering twice a week, it shouldn't be anyways. But really, that's how often you should be watering the lawn anyways, regardless of whether or not you're in a drought. So I don't really consider myself restricted. The only thing that I haven't been doing is I haven't been running like a daily syringing cycle in the front yard to just kind of keep things cooled off. I haven't been doing that. Typically what I've been seeing is about a day or two before the next watering day, the hot spots will start appearing and surfacing, and I am allowed to water those manually with the hose in between waterings. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been working well. It's kind of it's a little extra time commitment. I probably spend a little while doing that because I'll try and get at least five minutes or so of water on each spot, and depending on how much there is to do on a given day, I could be out there for a little while. And I try to go over it twice or so. Just give them a good soak. And usually about a half an hour later, if you come back, they're already healing and recovering, which is nice. Doing what I can just to kind of keep the lawn from checking out. My goal is to have, green throughout the summer. So far so good. Just gotta stay on top of those stressed out areas. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I decided that I should raise the height of cut up to 1 inch, and I think that's going to help me hang on to a more consistent color, and it's going to help me hold a little bit more moisture, and it should be a little bit better for the grass. Obviously, mowing taller is a better strategy, and to each their own there. So I figure if I can keep the height of cut down and still follow the instructions as far as drought restrictions go, and still maintain the lawn and have it looking pretty decent, then I'm gonna stick with what I'm doing. So that's the plan. That's what's going on there. I have been having a lot more seed heads as well in the front yard popping up just because the lawn's so stressed. It's been hot here. We've been in the 90s pretty much every day. Haven't had a break from it. We hit record temperatures not too long ago. The Salt Lake City Airport recorded 107 degrees last week. Just nuts. Absolutely crazy. So it's been hot. It hasn't gotten to 107 at my house, but it's gotten to 102, and that's pretty close. So been really hot. We're getting into the dog days of summer. So I'm going to keep doing what I know works, watering deep and adding in the biostimulants, hydrotain, all that good stuff. And yeah, looking forward to fall. That's for dang sure. Looking forward to cooler temperatures. And hopefully we get a nice strong winter. Not that I want to deal with all the snow, but we need it. So here's hoping. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. But yeah, since I've been getting so many seed heads, the Greens Master can't really keep up with them. I think the front roller just kind of pushes them out of the way and mats them down, so the reel can't get it caught in between the reel and the bed knife enough or at the right angle to actually grab it and cut it. And so I've found a new purpose for my rotary scissors. I pulled out the rotary scissors and I just went over most of the front yard, and a lot of the seed heads were up by the sidewalk. There's obviously more heat that's generated near concrete or pavement, and the lawn kind of has to take that on. So I just kind of went over all the areas with the seed heads, and the rotary scissors were a excellent tool to take care of those and clean that up a little bit made a big difference. And the double cut mow that I did after that looked fantastic. It looked great. I should have filmed it, but yeah, just been so busy trying to catch up on videos that I've been working on, and doing family stuff. Kids are in baseball, karate, busy. So life gets in the way, and I work a full-time job during the day as well, so not a whole lot of time. That's just the way summer goes. So, yep, that's what's going on pretty much with the front yard. The one thing I haven't updated on in a little while are the plugs that I did. I took some plugs from the north side of my front yard and put them in a bare area near the south side of my front yard, near the garage. And they've been doing really well, but I think summer just kind of slowed them down, and they haven't been spreading as much. And I decided to do a little experiment. I've been going through the storage shelves in my garage and just kind of taking products out that I could put down. I found a bag of, Humic DG from the Andersons, and just threw it all over the whole lawn. I think it was double the application rate, but it's just humic acid, not a big deal. So cleared out some space there, got some humic in the lawn. I also found a couple of bags of turf mend, and I decided that it would be a cool idea to take the turf mend and spread it around the plugged areas and see if I could grow the seed in there during this kind of hot spell that we're in. And so I've been pretty diligent trying to keep the peat moss and the seed damp with water. Conveniently, there's a hose link reel like 3 feet away, just on the other side of the sidewalk, so it doesn't really take hardly any effort to water them. And we'll see how it goes. It's just straight bluegrass seed. I think it's Barenbrug bluegrass seed. So it's been a week, maybe a week and a half since I did that. So not expecting to see any new grass blades, any baby grass blades or seedlings anytime soon. Probably not for another week at least. But I will keep you updated on how that goes. Kind of interested to see, just a little experiment. At the very least, the peat moss that comes with that makes that area look a lot better and less of an eyesore. Instead of just like natural sandy dirt, sandy clay, it's just the nice dark, rich peat moss surrounding those plugs. So, and then I keep mowing, and I put mowing in air quotes when I say this. I keep mowing those plugs, and I mow them with the rotary scissors because I can't get the real mower over there. It's too close to that walkway. So I mow them with the rotary scissors, and they're growing. They're growing just as well as the rest of the lawn. They're healthy. They're just not spreading as fast as I had hoped they would, and I am experimenting to just see if this speeds up the process a little bit. And we'll just kind of have to see how it plays out. I was able to also get my application of the Freedom fertilizer down in the backyard. When I filmed my video for Yard Mastery for that product, I only applied it to the front yard, and I didn't get it down in the backyard at that time. And I was finally able to do that, so that was good. And yeah, so Freedom results incoming, and we'll look forward to those. Freedom takes a little longer for the results to appear and take effect. So I'm just going to sit back on that one and enjoy it. And anything else I put down this summer will be either sulfate of potash, potassium 0048, or I do have some elemental sulfur that I need to get down as well because I'm trying to bring down my pH level. And that stuff takes forever to break down. So the sooner I can get it out, the better, and I can apply that anytime I want to. So we'll talk more about that later in the last segment because I don't want to spoil too much about what's coming up next. But yeah, been working on some videos. Got a video out this past week or earlier this week. Tonight's Wednesday. Tuesday's video was just an overview of the setup I put together for my power rotary scissors, and I was worried about how that would turn out and the response I'd get on that. I was hoping it wouldn't be too niche of a video, but the response I've gotten from it, I've been really happy with, and I'm glad I made that video. That's something I've just been thinking about doing for a while and wanted to kind of explain in case anybody else needed some help that is considering putting together or purchasing rotary scissors and wants to know where to start and what equipment's needed that's compatible with them, and hopefully that will be a helpful video to at least one or two people. So got that done. I am currently editing the Hoselink versus Ely comparison video. I know that a lot of people are looking forward to that. It's kind of a little bit of pressure that I'm feeling. I want to do the video justice, and I want it to be helpful and obviously unbiased. So I'm working really hard on that, trying to get that done and put together. It might even be out by the time that this episode comes out. Let's have to see. But I would say I'm smack dab in the middle of the editing process, getting everything together, making sure my points are clear, and making sure that it's got good flow to it and it's entertaining, all the things that come down to editing. But that's pretty much all that's going on and what's happened, and I think that gets you up to date. At least that's all I have written down in my notes. So that is going to wrap up the introductory segment, and looking forward to this next segment, I've got to say, I'm excited. I've got a conversation with George from Princess Cut Lawns, and we're going to talk about a few things. So hang tight, and we'll be right back. Today's special guest is Mr. George from Princess Cut Lawns. Got him on the Skype call over here, and excited to have you on, man. Thanks for taking some time. Thanks for putting up with my tardiness. But
dude, no worries, man. You hit me up earlier and you said I gotta wait till my kids go to bed, and honestly, I know exactly how it goes, Jimmy. Don't feel bad, I mean, even though it's like 10, 11 o'clock right now, that's all right, because there's no place I'd rather be than right here, I haven't done this podcast thing in a while, so it kind of feels good to get back into the zone of things.
Yeah, before you know it, we're going to be in the off season again. And are you going to have a season 2 for your podcast?
Actually, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we have a couple people lined up for the freshman class. Our class that we had last year, we're sophomores now. We finally graduated.
Yeah.
So I've been taking a look at some of the new talent that's out in the lawn community, and I've been talking to them, and we're going to have them on too. So I'm definitely excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Of course, I enjoyed being on your show last year, but I've also enjoyed watching other people and listening to the conversations that you've been able to have with people. It's been really interesting to hear other people's stories and learn a little bit more about them. It's been a lot of fun. I think you do a good job with that. And
I really think that's like the big benefit when it comes to this long form content. Even Alan was saying that a lot of people are listening to long form content, especially when they go to work and things like that.
Yeah.
And we always see our favorite lawn healthcare creators making videos week after week after week, but we don't really get to know them on an intellectual level. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like it provides a lot of value for the hardcore fans.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's only, and that's why I started a podcast here, is there's only so much you can fit into a video, right? You only have so much time. But with the long form content podcast style, you can ramble on as long as you really want to. and I need that. So that's why I started.
Actually, Jimmy, I give you a lot of credit. You're doing this during the in season, and
yeah,
you already know making YouTube content, it's very time consuming. It's not easy to pump out videos every week. There's a lot that goes into it. So the simple fact that not only are you sticking to that weekly schedule, sometimes more I see you releasing videos, but you're also making this podcast, which is like, my hat's off to you, bud, because my plate is filled right now and I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how I do it either, to be completely honest. I feel way too busy. This might not go on too much longer. I have to slow down, pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, because not only do you have to do the podcast, but you also got to take care of your lawn. You can't let that fall behind, because that's like the backbone behind everything.
Yep. And out west, the lawns need a little bit more attention. We got lucky today, though. We got a little bit of rain today, and we were no higher than like 72 degrees today. It was perfect.
Yeah, we were actually 72. All day it was 70s. It's awesome. Like,
yeah,
I wasn't really expecting this after the crazy heat wave that we had. And I know you're in Utah. You guys are like considered desert.
Yeah.
And I was watching Jeremy's live stream. Was that earlier today or yesterday? I don't know. These days are like blending together.
Right.
But he was saying that you guys, were having some issues with rain, and so were we.
Yeah, we, and I've talked a lot about this. We're in the worst drought on record in the state. Like over 90% of the state is in an extreme drought condition right now. It's really bad. Like if you look at the map that shows you like the color coded areas for drought status, most of the state is like deep dark red. It's pretty bad. So lots of talk about water conservation and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to stick to those watering restrictions that you guys got.
Yeah, it really just depends on where you live, depending on how hard they're being on people. But where I live, it's still pretty normal conditions as far as what they're restricting us. We're at twice a week right now, and then we can like hand water the heat stressed areas with a hose in between waterings if we need to. So it's still doable. And then obviously, biostimulants and hydrotane and all that good stuff makes a big difference too. So hanging in there.
Let me ask you, Jimmy,
yeah.
Your guys' primary like water source, is it the Colorado River?
So our primary water source is the snow. So all the snow. Yeah, so all the snow that we should be getting in the winter, obviously that hangs up in the mountains, and then it melts and it runs off into reservoirs. So there's several reservoirs, like Lake Powell is a popular one that's down south. Connor lives near a reservoir, a lake, and then there's one up near me, probably about an hour to the east. And that reservoir actually is, it's called Deer Creek Reservoir, and that's primarily where my secondary irrigation is supplied from. So it comes downstream down the Provo River, and eventually all of that stuff ends up in the Colorado River, and it goes downstream into Nevada and Arizona, California. But yeah, all of that sourced water comes from the snow. So if we don't get snow, then we don't get water.
Yeah, the reason I was asking is because I was actually just watching this like really interesting documentary about the Colorado River.
Yeah.
And how it's like 100 feet below like sea level or whatever, it's like really low right now because of all the droughts.
Mm-hmm.
And finally now divers can go down there safely without like pressure warnings, and they can actually see where the train tracks are in there from when they built the Hoover Dam, which was like super interesting to me. So
Yeah, that's insane.
I never knew that they completely drained it to build the Hoover Dam. So.
They did, yeah. So I grew up just outside of Las Vegas, and I've been to the Hoover Dam, I can't even tell you how many times since I was a little kid. And yeah, they have pictures there in the visitor center, and they'll show you if you go on a tour the pictures of what it looked like as they were building it. But yeah, they pretty much drained everything out to build the dam, and yeah, it's pretty amazing. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't been there, but something I found interesting is that the depth was about 200 feet of like right before the dam. And now since it's 100 feet, people could actually go scuba diving down there and look around. So
yeah,
that's kind of like a first in a long time. So
yeah,
the drought is bad, but it's kind of opened up the door to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, and if you're into that, you might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah. Well, tell the people what's going on over at your place. How's the lawn doing? What have you been up to the last week or so?
Well, lawn's doing better now, that we're out of that heat drop, because for the past week, it's been like 90s and 100s. And finally, we just got this literally breath of fresh air over here in Chicago.
Yeah.
So actually, the lawn bounced back pretty fast. I'm not going to lie. I was getting some drought literally overnight. It's starting to look better. So I was able to throw down an application of liquid fertilizer, which felt good because I haven't been able to do that in a while. And finally got to get a mow in, and I could see that the grass is finally growing again, so I could get back into that springtime mode.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you just picked up a new mower.
I did. I got the Alec Kensington, but I haven't been able to use it really too much lately because, it's been so dry.
Yeah, so the grass kind of slowed down a little bit. Have you used a growth regulator too?
No, I actually did a reno back in the end of fall last season.
So you're still trying to push that in.
Yeah, if you take a look at my videos, I still got a lot of bare spots and stuff that I need to fill in because it's 100% Kentucky bluegrass. And
yeah, it takes how that sweet goes. Time.
Exactly, but I could see that starting to fill in, so I think by the fall time it's going to go good.
Yeah,
just got to keep on it. And I've noticed that it's not really growing too much. It's pretty much like a slow crawler right now since it's still pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't thrown down any plant growth regulator like before. I was slinging down the PGR all the time when I had my perennial ryegrass.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the new Kentucky bluegrass, you don't really have to worry about it. It's slow, and yeah, you'll be fine.
You threw down some KBG too, right?
Yeah. So I had an area that I killed on accident last year that I had to fill in, and that's pretty much done now. And I've done one application of PGR this year. And the lawn's just been kind of struggling with the heat wave, and so I haven't applied it anymore. I've just been trying to get it to grow and fill in a little bit, and I even just raised my height of cut up to 1 inch like a week ago. So that's kind of helping me survive a little bit easier. It's kind of taken the stress load off a little bit. But yeah, the lawn's looking a little bit better. I think today was just a really nice kind of reset too with the cooler temperatures and the rainfall. So hopefully, I think we're going back up into the 90s too. So it's going to get hard again, but we'll survive.
Speaking of hiring your height of cut, I did the same. So when I had my greens master, the highest height of cut I could get on it was 1/2 inch because it was the 89 model, and it wouldn't go any higher than that. Which, at first kind of sucked, but I got pretty much used to it.
Yeah.
So now that I have the Allet, I could bring it all the way up to 1.25 inches. So it's a lot different. It's kind of a different mowing experience. Yeah. And I kind of like it, but I noticed there's more stragglers when you mow higher. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I think that it makes you more prone to want to double cut when you're mowing a little taller, just to kind of get those stragglers. And I've had a lot of seed heads too, just because of the stress. And I think a lot of that stress is coming from all the sand I put down last year too, just because that sand radiates the heat, and I haven't had this many seed heads in my front yard ever. And yeah, so double cutting helps with those too. And then I've been taking my rotary scissors around and just kind of knocking them down too.
Dude, it is hilarious that you mentioned that, because I had a bunch of like hard stock seed heads too. Like my grass was like a quarter or like 3/4 of an inch, and then I had like 5-inch seed heads.
Yeah.
and I had to literally go. I took my Honda rotary mower out and I set it to like the lowest setting, or the second lowest setting.
Yeah.
And I just mowed all those seed heads because the real mower just wasn't getting them.
Can't get it. Yeah. There's not enough room. They're just too long. Yep. It's kind of funny how it works out that way. You just got to kind of figure it out.
I like that idea you said about the rotary scissors.
Yeah. If you've got, I mean, I went through a whole battery and then some with all the time it took to do it, but it was really helpful because, you could change the angle to get, if it's kind of laying down in the grass, you can kind of bring it out and then cut it right away. I thought about bringing out the Time Master and dropping it all the way down, but it wasn't too bad with the rotary scissors. If you need to do it over more than like 2,000 square feet or even like 1,500 square feet, you're going to want to do it in like, do half one day and half the other day or something. But yeah, I thought it worked out pretty nicely. It's something different. Those seed heads, man, they're rough this year.
They were, and they're like pretty hardy too.
They are. Yeah.
Like thick stalks,
Yeah. I'm considering overseeding a little bit with some more rye. Maybe this fall or next spring or something. Put some more rye in there. See what that does.
So I've been watching Connor's videos lately,
yeah.
And I finally see that his bald spots are starting to fill in with the ryegrass.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to be honest. A big reason why I seeded completely KBG was watching his videos. I always wanted to have it. And
did you do a mono stand?
Yes.
And what cultivar did you go with?
Midnight.
Midnight, okay.
Yeah. And it's doing good, but I just have some rough areas that are still bald because they're on a steep slope and it's kind of rounded off, and it's right at the end where there's a lot of runoff.
Yeah.
So, you just have those stubborn areas, that just won't fill in. So my idea coming up this fall is seed those areas and put a seeding blanket, like cut it perfectly around those areas,
mm-hmm.
and like really like dial in the irrigation so I can get some seeds to pop up over there.
Nice. Have you felt any temptation to want to overseed with rye?
Yes, absolutely. I have. I mean, it's always an easy solution, but
right.
I'm actually seeing now that the KBG is thickening up really a lot, because in the beginning of spring, it was pretty thin, but now that I'm looking at it, like it's getting really dense in those areas that it's seeded in good.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives me a feeling that I just want to ride out the KBG. And another thing, I don't know if you saw my video where I did the Alid Swordman video, but I went to go visit Aaron, the Perfect Cut.
Yeah.
And he lives not too far away from me. And he has 100% perennial ryegrass in the back and 100% KBG up front.
Okay.
And let me tell you, his KBG looks a lot better than his ryegrass. And he has the same conditions as.
Wow.
And his perennial ryegrass, if I'm not mistaken, is like some premium cultivars. And his KBG is just 100% Scott's KBG. And it looks a lot better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the KBG is more... as long as you continue mowing it and you're mowing it all the time, it'll fill in really fast. So obviously it's not going to grow as much during the summer just because it's kind of fighting to go into survival mode, and then it's like getting happy again when you water it, and then it starts checking out again. It's just a constant battle through the summer. But once fall comes in and temperatures start coming down, it's going to get into a more consistent growth pattern, and as you continually mow it, you'll start to see it fill in and thicken up, and it'll be good.
So the more that I think about it, the more I think that I'm just not going to go ahead and overseed with perennial ryegrass. But I will tell you that I'm thinking about overseeding a little bit with some Mazama KBG, because I have some shade in my yard, and I just want to get that shade tolerance. But What's funny is Midnight is not known for its shade tolerance, but the areas that it's shady is where it's performing the best.
Interesting.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that is pretty funny. I think one of the cultivars in my blend is Mazama. I think I have some Mazama in mine, and it's doing good. I couldn't pinpoint it out for you, but it's in there, and it does okay.
Yeah, what's good about Mazama, not only does it have the shade tolerance, but it's one of the most disease-resistant cultivars too, KVG. So, and I've already been seeing some disease. I've been seeing a lot of mildew, which I know is pretty normal with KVG, but I just want to be proactive, and try. So I might sacrifice the monostand coming up here in the fall. How about you?
Yeah, so I think I have 4. I think the blend I bought has 4 varieties of bluegrass in it, and then 2 varieties of ryegrass. I'd have to look at the label to get specifics on that, but yeah, the only disease that I've ever had in my lawn, it's so dry out here for the most part, we don't really have disease. It's very rare, and the one I deal with when I do have any is melting out, and that's either from overwatering or just spurts of humidity. And so, and I typically only ever catch it in the front lawn on the shortcut, which is interesting. You can see the coloring a little bit better. But yeah, little bit of fungicide takes care of that pretty quick.
Do you plan on overseeding more coming up in the fall?
I'm still deciding what I'm gonna do. I think I might put some more rye at least in the front yard, and then I'm considering taking a section of the backyard lower. So
ooh,
we might be going a little lower in the backyard here this fall. So
not
the whole thing.
You plan on doing the whole thing? Or
no, not the whole thing. I can't do the whole thing. It's way too big. I don't have enough time. But my boys have been playing baseball this year, and when we're out practicing, and we usually practice in the backyard because there's more room, and they're hitting off of a tee right now, and my oldest is fielding grounders, and pop fly is pretty good, and when they're hitting ground balls off the tee, or I'm rolling them ground balls in the backyard, the grass is like 2.5 inches, the ball just dies. It doesn't roll, and it just comes to a stop pretty quick. But whenever I'm out in the front yard with them, the ball rolls wonderful. It's perfect conditions. So I'd like to get a little area, maybe 2,000 square feet, 2,500 square feet back there. Get it down to an inch probably.
I've been seeing a lot of guys making greens collars lately in their lawn. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Doing some collars, or even going like the bent grass route and doing an actual green.
Ooh.
My son wants me to do that. He wants me to have a putting green in the backyard, or even in the front yard. He said to, with a cup and everything. But I told him, I was like, buddy, I got to get another mower to do that. I'm not changing my height of cut that often. It's just, it's not that easy.
Oh yeah,
it's just not that easy.
As Ron says, it's an event, changing the height of cut.
It is. Yeah, absolutely it is. I'd much rather just have a mower specifically for a greens cut and a mower for everything else.
So I'm going to tell you a funny story. I don't know if you know Jason Cyberlich. He has the YouTube channel where he has a green in his backyard too. So he lives up in Wisconsin, and he actually bought my Greens Master off of me.
Oh, okay.
But he already owns a Jacobson right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason that he came and he bought my Greens Master from me is because he wanted 2 separate greens mowers so he can mow his fairway and his green. Because, like you said, it's just a hassle trying to switch those higher cuts.
Yep.
So now he's using the Greens Master because it has an 11 blade reel to mow his green, and then the Jacobson because it has I think 8 blade reel or something like that to mow his fairway.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I would do. And for anyone listening that doesn't understand why it's such a hassle, it doesn't take necessarily too long to do. It's it's because of how often you need to mow and how often, consequently, you would need to be changing that height of cut. So it's just not worth the tediousness of having to do that every single time, especially with greens, because with the greens, you're going to be mowing it, every day, every 2 days, and having to change the height of cut on that greens mower. Oh, I don't even want to think about it. It'll just get annoying so fast.
So let me ask you, Jimmy, have you ever considered getting a residential reel mower?
A residential reel mower?
Because let me tell you, it's a game changer. I got to be honest with you.
I think the only thing close to that I have is I just have that Sunjoe push mower. That's the only other reel mower I have.
I'm saying like an Allett or a cow trimmer or something like that.
Oh, and yeah, no, I haven't thought about that, to be honest.
Let me tell you, it's so easy and convenient to whip those things around.
Yes, if Allett had a longer or a wider blade, I'd probably be a little more enticed. But yeah, they're just too tiny.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The 20H is pretty huge, man. Believe it or not.
How wide is it?
It's 20 inches.
20 inches?
Yeah.
That's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
And I've been seeing a lot of people talking about the cow trimmers too right now. I kind of want to get my hands on one of those to test one out.
Yeah, I'd like to try one. I think Brett's tried one. I'm pretty sure he's tried every brand under the sun when it comes to reel mowers. But yeah, I'd like to try one of those too.
Yeah, I see that reel mowers, they're like exploding in popularity right now, man.
They are.
We need to make this thing like I feel like soon, like give it another year or two, like half the people are going to be reel mowing their lawns again.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I think, yeah, I'm getting people reaching out to me pretty regularly saying that they're reel mowing now and that they're taking their height of cut down lower. And I did a video recently talking about how I took my height of cut down from, like a normal mowing height down to real low, and people have reached out to me saying, yeah, I'm doing just what you did in your video. And like, yeah, okay, that's awesome. So yeah, I can see that trending for sure. And maybe in a couple of years, it'll be a thing. So yeah, I guess if I want to get that second reel mower, I better do it now before the market's saturated and they're harder to find.
Well, man, at the rate we're going, dude, everything is expensive these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, I can't. It's crazy.
It is.
Have you seen the prices of wood lately?
Yeah, they're starting to come down, it looks like, too. So that's good.
Jeez. Yeah, I was talking to one guy in one of the Facebook groups. He was talking about getting like a leveling drag to level his lawn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he said, I was originally thinking about making it with 2x4s, but with the prices they are, I might as well just buy a professional full-blown one.
Yeah, that's true. It's crazy. Hopefully that levels out. It seems like there's supply issues and equipment issues, keeping up with supply and production. Hopefully that levels off pretty soon.
Yeah, dude, totally, man.
So let's talk a little bit more about this Allett mower that you've got. How long have you had it now?
I've had it now for going on 2 months.
Okay. And are you planning on doing a formal review on it on your channel, or have you already kind of done that with your comparison to Swordman?
Well, I did an introduction of the mower,
mm-hmm.
but I don't think I'm going to do a full-blown review about it, because I just don't like doing reviews, like dedicated reviews on my channel. I don't know if you noticed, but like there's like a few things going on in each one of my videos. Like I'm not like
mm-hmm.
my last video, like there was like 5 different things. I was talking about watering, and then I was talking
Right.
about wetting agents, and then I was talking about hydrotain. I kind of don't like to make hyper-focused videos just on one thing. So I guess with the Allett, people will be hearing about it, as I go along with my videos, and they can kind of get a review like that. But I don't think I'm going to do a full-blown review on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. So are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
Are you happy with it?
I've used it probably about 8 times now.
Nice.
So I haven't really used it like, a lot because of all the hot weather that we've been having.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there's a drought and I need to like mow my grass, I use my manual reel mower because I'm not trying to bend over those like fried out blades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's the hard thing for me. I have no choice. I would have to bring the height of cut up to 1.25 inches to use my Sun Joe, and I would have to mow it like 3 or 4 times over because I'd get the ridges. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't want that. I don't want to deal with that.
It sounds like you're interested in getting one, man.
I don't know. I don't think so. Not right now. I'm saving the pennies for a shed.
How big do you want your shed to be?
Probably like 15 by 20 or something like that. I'd like a pretty decent size shed.
That's a good size shed, man, because I got one in the backyard right now and it's like maybe like 8 by 8 and it is not enough, man. Let me tell you. It fills up real quick.
Yeah, I think my 2-car garage, I think is 20 by 20.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. And so this would be almost like, if I were to go 15 by 20, it'd be almost like another garage. Well, it would be another garage. So
yeah, dude, I see all these like homesteading channels on YouTube where they have like these full blown like shops,
Yeah.
like they have like a barn dominium that's also like a shed / garage.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
I have.
Dude, I'm telling you, if I had like an unlimited amount of money, I would love to have like a house out in the country and have one of those barn dominiums that also has a workshop in there. Like that would be so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, my hope is that in the future we can find some land and have a little bit more space. We're on I think like somewhere in between 1/3 and 1/2 acre, so we have pretty good space, but I want at least like 1 acre, maybe even 2.
Yeah, my thing is like I don't want neighbors. Not that I don't like my neighbors. My neighbors are awesome, but over here in Chicago, the houses are so cramped up. If I look outside my bedroom window, I could look into my neighbor's bedroom window, and I just don't like that,
Yeah. Yeah, I know how you feel. It's not that bad where in my neighborhood, but it's still like I go outside in the front yard and I don't feel like my neighbors are very far away.
Yeah. And you guys over there in Utah, you're thinking about buying land. I heard that like in Utah, like the land property values are really going up right now. You guys are like, I think in 2021, the fastest growing state, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And I live in one of the fastest growing cities in the fastest growing state.
Oh, man. I heard there's a lot of people from California coming to you guys.
I hear that too.
Oh, you got to kick out those Californians, man.
I'm not going to say anything. They made their
bed. They got to lay in it.
I'm not going to say anything to that point.
Nah, but
the biggest issue I see out here is the city that I live in. My wife grew up here, so she's lived here almost 30 years, and her family's lived here longer than that. And like I can't remember which great grandparent it was. It was like several great grandparents back actually settled the area. So she's got deep roots here, and it used to just be all farmland, cattle. Out in the west side of town where I live, there's still a little bit of that, but those people are one by one, they're just selling their land to these builders, and then they're cramming as many houses as they can on that property. And so it's like what you described as the Chicago area, where you look out your window and it's like you're looking right into your next door neighbor's house. You can like stand between the two houses, reach out and touch them, they're just cramming them in. And yeah, if you want a half an acre, you're looking at like $400,000 or $500,000 just for dirt.
Jeez, man. Everyone says like raising property values. It's nice because my house is going up too. But what about my future generations? My kids aren't going to be able to afford it.
Yeah, well, even my sister-in-law and her husband, they just got married a little over a year ago, and they've been looking to get their first house. They've been renting and saving and working really hard, and they've been struggling to find something they could afford. So it's pretty crazy.
It's kind of a shame too, because all those states out west, by you, like even up into like Idaho and Montana. I mean, Montana is one of the most expensive states in the United States right now. I mean, who would have ever thought,
Yeah. From what I'm told, I've only seen a little bit of Montana, just like very western Montana near Idaho. Montana is like one of the best kept secrets in the country with how beautiful it is out there. In fact, Alan talks about it all the time, because his business partner
Who
Josh
talks about it?
Alan.
Oh.
His business partner at Yard Mastery, Josh, is in Montana, and we have a couple other people that work for Yard Mastery that live there too. And every time Alan goes out there or talks about going out there, he talks about how great it is and how beautiful it is. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised at all to hear that people are finding it. I think Idaho too is the same way. I lived in Idaho. I went to school in Idaho, and the part of southeastern Idaho that I'm familiar with is really beautiful. But they have tough winters. I'll tell you that.
Oh, so you were in southeast. So you were close to Montana then.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, that's how I saw the little bit of Montana that I did. One of the classes I took was about natural disasters, and we took a trip out to Montana to go see a site where I think it was like a landslide site or something like that. And yeah, really, really pretty area. And that was just that little bit, I didn't even get far into the state. So what's that line from Hunt for Red October? I would have liked to have seen Montana.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, man. The only problem is, like, you look at the cities like Bozeman and Big Falls. Mm-hmm. I mean, their property values, like minimum house is like $1 million over there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, holy smokes.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't do that. Crazy.
Yeah, but I definitely want to get out of here, out of Chicago, because the taxes are just too much. Like, if I told you how much I paid property tax on this little house, it would make your head spin. Like, seriously.
You'll have to tell me offline, and we'll have to compare notes on that.
Yeah, I will, man. But it's crazy. I got to get out of here, dude. Not only that, but the crime rate here is bad, but we grow some nice grass. That's for sure. I'll say that.
Hey, the grass is good. That's the most important part.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I always wondered, like, I saw Ryan Knorr. He went to Oregon to visit like the sod farms and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Are they there in Oregon because Oregon is the best place to grow grass?
So it seems like all of the grass seed comes out of Oregon and Washington, and I really couldn't tell you why, but obviously they've got fertile soil and good conditions, and that's just where it's done.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because
they get a lot of rain up there too. That helps.
Yeah, I always assumed that Oregon was more like dry, like desert area, but I guess not.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Oregon. I lived in Washington for a couple years, and Washington is kind of split in half. Western Washington, everything west of Seattle area is very green, gets a lot of rain, very, very pretty area. And then everything east is like your dry desert climate on the other side of the mountain range. So I don't know if Oregon is similar. I'm sure it's probably a little bit just because it's up there. But
so wait, you lived in Washington too? Jimmy, you're like a globetrotter or something. You live in Chicago too?
No, I don't even think I've been to Chicago. I don't even think I've even been to the airport out there. I need to get out east more. But I've been pretty much everywhere out west.
Nice, man.
But yeah.
So what are you doing in your lawn right now?
Surviving. Surviving.
Throwing down a bunch of hydrotane?
Every month I'm putting hydrotane down. So I do what the label says when it, they say that you can put down 9 ounces every 3 months per 1,000 square feet, or you can put down 9 ounces per 1,000 your first month and then 3 ounces per 1,000 every month after that. And that's the strategy I like to take because I think it's a little more consistent, and it seems to help. So hydrotane, is a monthly application for me, and then biostimulants, humic, RGS. Been going a little lighter on the fertilizer. I put down the new Freedom fertilizer this month, and that stuff's pretty cool, man. Have you tried that out yet?
No, I haven't tried it. Actually, you know what? This is a good question. I was going to ask you, what's your favorite fertilizer to throw down for the summer? Usually.
That is a good question. I think if I had to choose any fertilizer, I would probably go with Propete for the summer. And I do plan on that'll probably be my next application. Next time I put fertilizer down will be Propete. And the reason why is because you can spoon feed it really well, because you can get it in a greens grade, and so it's pretty easy to spread small doses, and then it's got a peat moss base, and obviously we know that peat moss is good for retaining moisture, and it's slow release too. So I like that. I think Propete's a great summer choice for fertilizer.
I actually really like the fact that they're greens grade, the Propete, because the way that I look at it is anytime that I do fertilize in the summer, it's always in those like little pockets of time that we have where it's not so hot outside.
Yeah.
And if it's like those small homogeneous like greens grade prills that break down fast, I feel like we could get it down deep into the plant, so it doesn't take forever, and it starts getting released during the hottest times.
Yeah. And I like that they're making their greens grade available a little bit easier to get to. They have 3 different grades to their fertilizer. They have a greens grade, they have a fairway grade, and then everything that doesn't fit through those filters is basically what goes to the homeowner market, and that's where you get the bigger size prills. But I think they realize that the greens grade is so popular. Once you try it, you're like, dang, this stuff is nice. And it just comes out of the spreader so nice and smooth and easy. It's pretty addicting.
Yeah, I'm actually going to have to try that. I recently just threw down myself some of the multi-purpose plus by Ecologel, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. And it has some macros, some minors, some hydrotane in it as well, so it's kind of like an all-in-one package. And
that's a cool product that they have. I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but I've talked to Jim over at Ecologel about it, and he's told me a little bit about it. And I like that. I thought it was cool that they put hydrotane in it, so you kind of get a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, it's kind of like that all-in-one package, which is cool. But I haven't threw down any granular fertilizer yet for the summertime. But I might get some of that Freedom Fert and throw it down because my lawn honestly is kind of slacking in everything. So I think that would probably be a good option too.
Yeah, I mean you're getting NPK, that's for sure. And I think the best part about that fertilizer, it's just fun. Like it's not just another fertilizer. It's a fun fertilizer. It's a fun product, and it's creative, and I think that's why people want to buy it.
I was talking to Vince, the Longineer, the other day in our creators lounge that we have in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
And he lives in Philadelphia. He told me he was going to take a little bit of the Freedom fertilizer and spread a little bit in front of the Liberty Bell.
Oh, that's cool.
On camera.
I was going to say he should film that.
I think he is, actually, as a matter of fact. I think I don't want to ruin it for anyone. I'm not sure. You might have to edit that out.
Hey,
but I think that
I always tell people who listen to this show that sometimes they're going to hear things that not other people hear anywhere else. So it's just one of the perks of subscribing.
This is that exclusive joint.
Yep, exactly.
You guys are hearing the insides.
Yeah, that'll be cool to watch. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. And what other fertilizer would you want to do that with? You know, like it just doesn't make sense. And that's the fun of it. I think it's just a neat product and kind of fun to see a little bit of behind the scenes on that now.
And the analysis too is 1776. Talk about genius. I want to know who came up with that.
I think Brett had a lot of to do with that product. I think that I would say that product is Brett's baby. That's his.
Nice.
Yeah. So
it's 1776 and it's number 45 pounds. Wink, wink. No.
I didn't think about that, but you're right. Yeah, and the prills are red, white, and blue. And obviously there's a flag and a bald eagle on the bag, and it's your spread it on the holiday fertilizer. So since we're talking about yard mastery, I got to ask you, man, how's the new job going? Thanks for asking.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. It's kind of nice to be able to work for someone and that are friends with, and to work in an area that you're actually interested in. And in all fairness, I really enjoyed my last job that I came from up until recently. Before I left, it was perfect timing because I wasn't really happy anymore, and it just made it easier to make the change. But I'm really enjoying it. It's nice to be back to that small startup grind company, and and Yard Master is doing really, really well. So it's kind of fun to see that and be a part of it.
Well, Jimmy, and I know, since we're creators, there's no better feeling than to get compensated by using like your own creative skills,
Mm-hmm.
like just putting your own touch on things and being able to create and to see a good result. It's just like, honestly, it's one of the best feelings in the world. So I'm glad that you found a place, that you can actually use your abilities to help, the startup that, honestly, is a big, like role model for all of us.
Yeah. And the nice thing too is, at my old job, everybody kind of knew that I had a YouTube channel and that I was super interested in taking care of the lawn. And it was always just kind of like either a side conversation or just something that was brought up joking around. But now it's like all of my conversations and all of my thoughts and everything that I do all day long is about all that stuff. And so I can take all of my insights and experiences and what I'm doing in my lawn and apply it to what I'm working on and what we're planning on doing for the app and to make it better. And it's just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So I can go out and be, working in my yard and I'm still working, like I'm doing things that are going to be helpful for my day job.
Exactly.
And maybe I can get away with wanting to go mow the lawn and take a break.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
Oh, I said, and then if I ever need to like take a break and go mow the lawn, then they understand, it's like, it's not a big deal.
Exactly. This is work, honey. No, but just to back up a little bit, you were saying like how your old job knew that you had a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And my job is the same way. And man, if I have to go through another corporate meeting where they make us give introductions about ourselves and something we do, and I don't mention the YouTube channel, but someone else mentions the YouTube channel, I'm going to lose my mind. Because all of my coworkers, too, also know that I have a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of like, oh, that's cool. You have a YouTube channel. And, you're the guy with the YouTube channel. And, like, you know how it goes.
Yeah. In
But
fact,
like, I mean, YouTube is like, it's like big business, you know. I feel like people don't realize, you know, that it's something serious.
yeah, it definitely can be. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that just kind of dink around with it and don't really, put a whole lot of time into it. But, people like you and me, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but I'm putting a lot of time into my YouTube channel. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah.
But
I'd say at least 40 hours a week.
Yeah. And
at the minimum.
Yeah. And I'm right there with you. So for anybody that kind of wants a little insight into how much time goes into working on a YouTube channel, there you go. It's like another part-time or even full-time job, at least sometimes, especially when we're peak season.
Yeah. It's tough, man. It's a lot of work, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize, you know, that when you're a YouTube channel, you're like a one-man band, and you have to wear a lot of hats, you know. You have to write your content, you have to script it out, you have to shoot it, you have to edit it, you have to do digital marketing, SEO on it, and then all that, and you still might not have a successful video.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Which is a bummer, but it makes it all that much better when you have a video that takes off, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you've had a few of those this year.
Yeah, it's been a good year.
Yeah, you've been killing it this year. Probably one of the fastest growing channels on our little community this year.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people grow fast too. I mean, you had Justin last year that grew, and you know, there's also some new guys right now that are growing like crazy fast. So, you know, it's just it's nice. I'm humbled by it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to see. You know, you pick up a couple of new channels every year, and you just kind of follow along, see how they're doing. And I remember I've been watching you since pretty much the beginning, and it felt like just a week or two. I looked at your channel and you had, you know, a certain number, and then probably like a week or two later, I looked back and you were just like exponentially higher than what I remember it was. Like, whoa, what happened? It's been cool to watch. I'm happy for you. It's been super cool. You deserve it. Your content's great. It's entertaining. It's good quality. It's good editing. It's fun to watch. Man.
You know, with the editing, a lot of people comment on my editing, and I actually just learned how to edit videos like as I was starting YouTube. If you take a look at my first videos, like they were all shot on the iPhone, hard cuts.
Yep.
And I really just kind of dedicated the last year of like the art of video making, and it's kind of become another hobby with me. But I used to be a DJ when I was younger, and I feel like that kind of gave me a little bit of a competitive edge when it comes to like, you know, finessing like content and editing it, because believe it or not, mixing music is very similar to video editing. Very similar.
Yeah. From probably high school and all through college, I had a guitar in my hands, and I wrote a lot of songs, and had a little recording setup back then. You know, I could plug my guitar into my computer and had a microphone, and I had a electric piano that I could do like drum beats and drum kits on it, and, you know, bass lines, and I would mix everything together. And so that kind of gave me a little bit of an insight into how to kind of think that way and layer things and transition. And yeah, but editing itself, man, you're always learning something. I think the hardest part on editing for me is just being willing to go beyond my comfort zone and try new things. You know, you get so used to what you're familiar with and what you feel like you're good at that it's kind of hard to sometimes want to branch out.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, you know, old people don't like to change. Hopefully we're not getting old.
Sometimes my body tells me I'm getting old.
But I totally hear you on that, Jimmy. You know, like if you take a look at some of my content, like you could see some trends on a few videos that I did. And I just kind of experimented with what worked and what didn't work, and just kind of, you know, tried to blend it together. And some things don't work that you like, that you just have to let go. I forgot which YouTuber says it. He's like a big video guy, but he said murder your darlings. Whatever. If you love something so much in the edit, but you know people aren't going to react to it, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Calls it murdering your darlings.
Murder your darlings.
Yeah. I forgot which YouTuber it was, but I'll send you the link after this.
Okay, sounds good. So what's next for you? What's on your radar?
Well, I'm working with I'm working with Hunter Irrigation right now, and we're going to be rolling out a few videos here coming up pretty soon. I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek about what's coming. You have an irrigation system, so it might not be so exciting for you. But they're rolling out this new system called the MP Stake, which is a DIY irrigation solution. And for a lot of people that don't have irrigation, you know, even me, I remember, like Ryan Knorr has a famous video where he made like a custom DIY
with all the hoses.
Yeah, you seen that?
Yep.
So Hunter pretty much made an all-in-one solution just like that for the MP rotators.
Okay.
But it's more streamlined. It's a lot easier to use, and it's not so big and bulky. It's actually really awesome. I actually just saw it today. We were scripting out the video and writing a few things. They came over. So we're going to be releasing a video on that new solution, and I'm super excited about that because I think it's a really awesome product. And I'll be honest, Jimmy, products don't excite me very often. But I really think that this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people in the lawn community. So I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, one thing that when I started getting more involved in the community, one thing that really stood out to me that I didn't really expect to learn was that there's a lot of people out there that don't have in-ground irrigation. And they're either doing like crazy Ryan Knorr type setups with pulling hoses around and having to tie everything in together, and or they've just got an old school oscillating sprinkler or something that they've got to move around the yard. And that just never occurred to me that there were so many people in that situation. And so, yeah, that's exciting that, you know, companies like Hunter are coming up with solutions to get in and reach that market.
And to be frank with you, I'm surprised they haven't done it sooner.
Me too. Yeah.
But this new solution is like really awesome. And I'm one of those guys. I don't have irrigation in my lawn. Yeah. And I mean, to install a custom irrigation system just in my front yard is like $5,000.
Yeah. And it's harder to want to do it after the fact too, after you've already established a lawn, you know, because you've got to kind of tear into that a little bit. You know, I watched Justin do it last year, and he's had to deal with that. Now you don't even know that he even did it, but even still, it kind of hurts to watch.
Yeah, and Justin's, I was talking to him about that system. I know he spent I think $1,500 or $2,000 on that system.
Yeah.
And at that point, you know, look, if there's one thing I've learned, the two worst things in the world are to dig into the ground and to work on a roof. I don't like digging and I don't like roofing.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'd rather just not even do it, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I don't have irrigation, and I know my lawn suffers a little bit because of that, because no matter how much I put out the oscillating sprinklers and how much, you know, I have tried to do head-to-head coverage, it's never going to be perfect.
Right. Well, even if you have a in-ground system, it's not going to be perfect anyway.
Yeah, but it'll be closer to perfect.
It's better. Yeah, it's better. But yeah, even with my system, there's still areas, you know, as dialed in as I can get it, there's still areas that still struggle.
Yeah, so we're going to do this DIY video, and then after that, we're going to do a full-blown irrigation system install as well.
Sweet.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
Going to have a lot of irrigation content coming up.
Well, that's awesome. There's a lot of people that need that, you know, whether it's, you know, the system you were just talking about, or, you know, I had someone reach out to me even just today that had questions about putting in an irrigation system on their own, doing it by themselves without hiring out, because one, it's like you said, it's expensive, and two, everybody out here is just backed up. Like you're months out for anything because so many people are moving here, so many houses are being built. Sod farms, are trying to keep up, and consequently irrigation companies are trying to keep up, and they're just all backed up. And so a lot of people are willing to save the time and save the money and just do it themselves. And so I'm getting hit up every once in a while, people asking, what do I do? Do you think I can do it? So it's definitely a need.
What happened to your one buddy? I remember a few videos back you went to his house and he had a seeding project. Wasn't he going to install irrigation, I think you were saying?
Yeah, so he did all of his irrigation, and he did a pretty good job. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He could have done better. But he did a pretty good job, and we did just seed the backyard. I put out a video. It's been 5 weeks since we seeded, and I put out the video where we actually put the seed down. I'm working on an update video on that right now. I haven't had time to get out to his place to go film, and he told me that he would get a bunch of B-roll for me, and then I could just do like a video from right here and talk about it. But he had a really good grow-in, like super good grow-in, and yeah, I'm excited. They're loving it. So that turned out really well. So his irrigation install is doing good.
Nice, man.
In fact, he talked to me about it the other day. He's already having regrets. Because he went with like the cheaper sprinkler heads and valve manifolds and stuff. And he's like, I wish I would have just gone with the nicer stuff. And I told him right from the beginning, I was like, invest. I said, you're going to regret it if you don't. And he's regretting it. So anytime.
Buy it nice or buy it twice, right?
Yeah. That's absolutely true. And that's anybody that reaches out to me asking about, irrigation questions and tips and stuff. That's what I tell them. I say, be willing to buy the nice ones. Don't cut any corners with anything on an irrigation install. Just
I like saving money, man, but there's a few things that I don't go cheap on in life.
Mm-hmm.
I like a good mattress.
Yep. A good
I like
pillow.
a good TV. Yeah, I like a good TV, and I like good sprinklers.
Yep. Me too. Yeah, anything that's got a, those big ticket items, you got to kind of bite the bullet and just go for it.
Yeah, man, dude, totally.
Well, I'm excited to see that content. I bet you're excited to get it out too.
Yeah, I am, but it's gonna be a little bit, we haven't even started filming yet. We're just kind of in the pre-production phases. It's gonna be a lot of editing, so it might be a little bit, but
yeah,
it'll be out there. It'll be out there by July 4th. When things really get bad.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much right around the corner. So we're about there. Sweet. Well, I am about out of time.
Nice. Me too. It's almost midnight here in Chicago.
Yeah, you're a little bit ahead of me. You're in the future.
Yes.
But it's getting close to my bedtime. I've got some editing to wrap up and see if I can get a video out tomorrow and stay consistent with my schedule. But
nice.
I appreciate you, George. Thanks for coming on the show and talking about all the fun things going on. And it sounds like we got a lot to look forward to from Princess Cut Lawns.
Lawn care.
Princess Cut Lawn Care. There it is.
Come on, Jimmy, you should know this by now. I'm kidding.
If you're not subscribed, get over there. Subscribe. Thanks for coming on, George. Appreciate you.
I had a good time. With
Me
you,
too.
Jimmy. Thank you so much.
Me too. Special thanks again to George from Princess Cut Lawns for taking some time to have a nice conversation and to come on the podcast. If you haven't had a chance to check out George's channel, he's having a extremely successful year this year as far as growth on his YouTube channel. It's been pretty impressive to watch. I enjoy his videos. He does a great job, and his passion for taking care of his lawn is right up there with me and the rest of us. So if you haven't had a chance to check out George and his channel, Princess Cut Lawns. So as far as what's next, all I'm doing is keeping busy. There's a lot to look forward to, and one of my favorite parts of the year is just around the corner, and that would be the 4th of July. So I am already looking forward to the 4th of July and planning on getting started working on that video, getting some things filmed and getting things ready to go. The kids are looking forward to it just as much as I am, I think. I was talking to my boys about it the other day, told them that we're going to start filming that pretty soon, and they are pumped. They like throwing the American flags on their little bubble lawnmowers and following me around the yard. So I think they had a blast doing that last year, and I think that's going to be a little bit of a tradition for us, which I think is awesome. So we're going to get started on that hopefully this weekend. It is Roundup week here where I live in my city, where they have a Roundup week leading up to the rodeo. So it is rodeo week, and it is awesome. One of the best rodeos in the state here. We have professional athletes come to the rodeo and compete, and it's just a blast to watch. So we always look forward to that. It's always in late June, and tickets always go on sale on Black Friday, and so we're always jumping on those and getting the good seats and looking forward to that. It was canceled last year too, so we've been looking forward to it for a long time. So lots of patriotic things going on here this week. The city goes all out. They line Main Street with American flags all the way down Main Street, and it's just a sight to see. So looking forward to that, looking forward to the parades and just the patriotism that comes along with all of that. So hoping to get some good footage out of that to include in the video, get started on the 4th of July video. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a busy week, but it's going to be a lot of fun. As far as videos go, I am thinking about doing kind of a day, or not a day in the life, but a week in the life video, and just kind of maybe show a little behind the scenes of what I'm doing in the lawn and how I'm approaching my week, and filming stuff, if that makes sense. Just an idea. If you think that's a cool idea, let me know. If you think it's stupid, let me know too. I'll take both sides of that feedback. As far as applications go, not really much to do. It's getting close to probably biostimulants again, and I do need to get that sulfur down sooner than later. And yeah, I'm not sure I'll make a video about that. It's just something that needs to happen anyways. It's just a normal thing for me. But yeah, if you have any ideas for videos that you'd want to see, that you would find helpful, that maybe haven't been done yet, or that you just want to see, especially if it's something that you want to see around here, let me know. Feel free. And same goes for content for the podcast, obviously. Anytime you want to hear something, a certain topic, feel free to email me, jimmy@jimmylewismose.com. Let me know if there's something you want to listen to me talk about, or somebody that you'd like me to have on the show, or even something you want me to talk to somebody about on the show. Love all kinds of feedback and suggestions. Just shoot me an email and love to hear it. But I think that is going to about wrap things up for this episode. And yeah, goes by fast. And I think that's a good thing. So lots to come, lots to look forward to, and I can't wait to share more about that with you. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget, when you're out this week mowing your lawn, cherish that moment. We'll talk to you next time. See ya.